All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, a podcast. And I say podcast because there are other ways to enjoy this content. Um, this is going to be a shorter one, but I have a feeling tomorrow is going to be a heavy news day. So I wanted to do this. Plus, I'm going to show you something that I think is interesting. Okay, so it is Sunday. For now, it's Sunday, March 2nd. Oh, look at that. It's March 2nd, and this is episode 32. And I am happy to announce that RSS.com is back, and it was totally user error. I'm so embarrassed, but I figured out what I was doing wrong, so. Because usually when something's not working, I go, oh, I guess I need to pay the bill, right? And I'll get around to it when I have the money. But remember, I said I went in there and I was like, oh, I don't owe them money. So yeah, it was something I was doing. But so that's back. Yay! For those who who need the transcript to follow me. Okay. So also the best place to go is the blog, which is at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. And I know that's a lot to write, so wherever you are watching or listening, look for a open intro, info, description, something of that nature button. And if you click on that, then another box is going to open with a link directly to the blog. All right, but it's the best place because I have the video there and the articles that I'm pointing to, so you can follow along, which helps some people. And then also, and you don't have to put your name in. The blog is free. And the other thing, the whole article is there. So if you I focus on the part that I focus on, but you might want to read another part, right? So, okay, so that's that. Spotify.com has video and audio. Oh, and RSS.com, since I was in there and accessed everything correctly, they also are posting to some place, 5 new places, I guess I never heard of. So, syndication, yay, right? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, also Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, everywhere, is my FX buddies except YouTube. But all right, so it was quiet. Well, there's lots of news, right? They're still talking about what happened here. Then they're talking about their Ramadan stuff. Everything's been good so far. No kablooies going off. Lots of Ramadan stuff. Well, they do every time. They have new commercials, new shows. Sadani goes out and breaks. It's called Iftar. It's the Iftar meal, and he went out and broke that or whatever with children, and so they're showing stuff like that. Okay, but there was some news. All right, so Iraqi Dinar hits 9-month high against US dollar, but it's 14.59. So for the first time, what did it say? 9 months? Yeah. So the first time in 9 months, it's under 14.60, which is good. So this week, will it get under 1400? I would like for it to, right? So we'll keep watching that. Let's see. They're calling this a significant improvement. Is largely attributed to the effective measures implemented by the Central Bank of Iraq. The bank's consistent efforts in maintaining a steady supply of dollars, coupled with a decrease in demand for the U.S. currency, have played a key role in strengthening the dinar. Yes, that's what we want. And see, even with the people coming, well, we'll see. There is one economist who's saying, yeah, it's good now, but wait till they get to eat off a tar, right? Then the dollar will go back up. But they have people come, I don't know if they come home from wherever they are or they come, there's always an uptick in people for for Ramadan. You know, not like the thousands or the tens of thousands for those other holidays. But yeah, and so they're spending more. And if you watch the one I did yesterday, I even showed you in writing where a man said he spends dinar, right? So it seems to me the people are using the dinar, right? So yeah. All right. Now this is what I thought was interesting. Oh, no. Let me show you this before it goes away. This is a site. I was gonna post this article. Maliki, Iraq's unity is our strategic choice, but the wealth will not be wasted. Now remember, his followers are wealthy people, right? So he's probably like, vote for me and I'll keep you rich. But I haven't, I don't want to get away from this page because look at this poll. After adjusting the dinar exchange rate, will the dollar crisis in Iraq end? So see, that's more proof right there. They're regularly having this conversation. Um, so you know, when people that watch Frank hear Eddie's reports that on TV they said, you know, whatever, I believe that somehow they keep it out of the articles, and somehow, well, I know how they can show different things on the internet in country than they do out of country. I know that. So, yeah, but here is the second day in a row where I'm finding something, you know, unexpected. So I thought that was neat. And I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted to vote. But I'm sure they have my IP address or whatever. What do you think? Should I vote? Leave a one or a two. One, yes. Two, no. I mean, I'm sure I'm already on our government's radar, right? If they look at, I mean, I even go on Chinese websites sometimes too. So I don't know, but because I'm thinking like most polls, if you've ever uh, uh, voted or participated, whatever, usually after you answer, they show the results. Um, you know, at, up for that time. But I'm thinking if I do, then it's gonna go away. I think even if I go away from this page, the poll, you know, it's a new day over there. They might have a new poll, but I'm gonna leave it up there and see what you guys say. But yeah, so I was really happy to see that because it's just confirmation that they're having daily probably conversations about the rate's gonna change. All right, so now remember when they brought Kazemi back. Who's Kazemi? The previous prime minister, right? Who was only there for a year. Well, it ended up being more than a year because it's typical of Iraq. But it was very short term. So they brought him back, and there's all kinds of speculation why they brought him back. I think, and remember I said because Sadani didn't publicly tell Trump, the T-Man, no to cutting off getting electricity or oil or whatever, gas, whatever, from Iran. But he was like, well, wait, can we have more time? That's what he said in public. Who knows what he said behind closed doors. And then the Ministry of Electricity, what did they do? They went on ahead and signed a new deal with Iran anyway, right? So that's rejecting U.S. pressure. So, see, and this is the first time we saw something in writing like this. So the title of the article is Baghdad Refuses to Join the Axis of Sanctioning Tehran. So I don't know who the axis is other than us, right? No one else is bothering them. Just us, right? But anyway, and Maliki warns against reducing dollar supplies. But so yeah, Baghdad, which is Sudani, right? He's the number one man in the land. Baghdad has rejected U.S. pressure over Iranian influence as Washington threatens to reduce dollar supplies to Iraq, according to a former prime minister. Can we guess who that is? Do we need to guess? It's Kazemi. But anyway, so I really do. So that might be a problem. Remember, there were rumors. Well, I told you guys if the T-Man got in, he was going to make changes. Sorry, my voice is, I don't know. And I have some tea over there. If I start coughing, I'll pause and drink the tea and then come back. Anyway, so this is an interesting article you might want to read. And like people ask me, well, how come you're not saying the RV's happening tomorrow? Or, things like that. Because I don't have boots on the ground. I don't have bank contacts. I don't have anything other than the articles, right? So, they're bringing in Kazemi possibly to see will he talk some sense. Not my words, but I'm putting myself in the T-Man's administration's shoes. Will Kazemi talk some sense into Sudani and get him on the T-Man program, right? Or will Sudani say, I got this, right? Just chill, Kazemi. But we'll see. I mean, I'm watching it. I'll be watching it because I do think it's gonna bubble up over. I hope not, but we'll see. So there's more stuff in here about stopping the gas transfers, and here they're talking about Marco Rubio. They had a meeting last Tuesday. Remember, they're supposed to come here in April. So yeah, so you might want to read that just to see stuff that's going on in the background. Right? All right. And it is kind of long, but So, yeah, they even talk about the oil resuming or not. So yeah, there's a lot in there. Okay. I don't know how to say this word right here. Okay, and I think that is an Arabic word that perhaps Google doesn't know how to translate because it translated every other word in a sentence. I don't know why it didn't translate that. But anyway, so whatever that is, it's going to return next Sunday because the Iraqi parliament suspends its session this week. So that's 1 week out of the 4 weeks. There will be no parliament working. All right. And they did say they claim they'll resume next weekend, right? Just an hour shorter, or they'll be at night instead of during the day. All right. So this was kind of big news, and remember back in the day, if you've been here for 7 to 10 years, back in the day, we used to get so excited when the IMF confirmed support for Iraq in developing financial policies. Now we're like, ho hum. But yeah, so I still report on it though. But everything's good. There's everything in there is positive. But I focused on this part, noting that the economic performance of Iraq and the prospects for sustainable growth were discussed amid appreciation for the progress made. And then looky here, they focused on macroeconomic indicators. So that was the in my opinion, that's Iraq and Kurdistan together, right? All right, let's see. And here, the second to the last paragraph, the statement added, within the framework of enhancing financial stability, it was agreed to intensify efforts to expand cooperation with foreign correspondent banks, which facilitates foreign trade financing operations, in addition to enhancing the use of the Iraqi Dinar in major transactions, which enhances the strength of the national currency. So I think that means to start phasing out using the dollar in the major transactions, but that would mean the other side would need to take the dinar also, right? So right now, whoever they're doing these major transactions with, they're taking something other than the dinar, right? It's probably the dollar. So I like that. If I'm reading that correctly, I think that bodes well. And then here they met with China. This was all over the news today. This was big news. Sadani met with China to talk about that, their power, and also, yeah, the Iraq Development Fund. And also there was another article, I just didn't feel like posting it, the Development Road, right? Okay, here's the one I was saying. The Economist diagnoses the reasons for the decline in the dollar exchange rate in Iraq. And he says, yeah, it's because they're not using it. But this decrease is temporary and will rise again, especially with the approach of Eid al-Fitr, which he's saying it will go back up to 1500 or 1510. I know it says 150, but it's not that. But hopefully he's wrong. Okay, there's my one commercial. Buy me a coffee. There's the link, and this is a QR code, which may or may not work. I don't know. All right. So this is good. Also, Iraq's gold reserves rise to more than 17 trillion dinars, which is probably still a fake number. But this came out on Sunday, today, that it recorded a growth in its gold reserves by 45.1% in the fourth quarter of last year. So I always like when they're talking about their gold growth, right? Because that's another way of saying, look at these reserves we have. We're ready to raise our rate. Plus, they announced it on the day the IMF was there. Well, I think the IMF is always there. But they had a meeting. Okay. Economists, doubts surround approval of 2025 budget schedules due to elections. I will tell you, I don't like this article. They are going to have elections this year, I think like October or November. And with that development with Kazemi coming back, if my feelings are correct, they might drag this out and get Sadani out and put Kazemi in. I hope that doesn't happen, but just by what I'm reading, what I read today, it's not good, I don't think, right? But I'm doubting Tish, right? So it would be fitting that I would think that way. So I'm sure you guys will tell me, stay positive, don't get down. So thank you. All right, so now the next three articles have to do with Iran. This guy right here, I don't know if you remember, he was out of the country and he said some things he shouldn't have said, and he was immediately called back to Iran. He was not seen for about 3 days. Then he made an appearance and everything was fine, but apparently not, because he put in his resignation. Okay, he is the assistant for strategic affairs. So I don't know what the what position that would be in Iraq, because I actually thought he was the foreign minister. But yeah, so this article calls him something else. So, and previously they dismissed the finance minister because the Iranian rial is almost 1 million rials per dollar. It's lost so much value. So here we have the Iranian president. I was in favor of dialogue with Washington, but Khomeini rejected it. I don't know how wise it is for him to be out in public saying that, but he did. And so remember, this is another thing that I said. There's a split in the Iranian government. This guy, he wants peace, he wants to move forward. Khomeini's like, death to America, death to ice cream land, right? He's like, don't get it twisted. We are weak, but the resistance will still fight, right? Those are the kind of statements, that Khomeini at 80 something years old, 84, 82, 84. But I mean, doesn't he kind of have to say that? Who is really gonna go, oh, yes, our country is so weak, we cannot protect ourselves, right? You never admit that, right? You don't admit defeat. You don't admit guilt. Right? So anyway, there's other noise. Sorry, I can't do anything about that. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. He's still trying to get his foot over here on this land. All right. And then here's another. Iran exploits Iraqi financial system through complex networks. And I actually thought this was an old article, but no, it came out today because I remember seeing that title before. But so maybe they're just reminding us that Iran has been leveraging intricate networks within Iraq's financial system to circumvent international sanctions and secure hard currency, according to a recent report by Al Hurra, which is a news site. So yeah, then there's some numbers there. Let's see. So these activities are part of Iran's broader strategy to bypass international sanctions, which have targeted its banking sector, and to ensure its access to the U.S. dollar. The increase in currency auctions has raised concerns among international observers and sparked calls for Iraq to take stronger measures to ensure that its financial system is not being exploited to the benefit of a foreign power. So I don't know I know some people are still watching the auctions. Well, we're not supposed to call it auctions, but they're still way over the $250 million that a lot of the politicians were comfortable with. And last week, it went over 300 million. I think 2 days last week, the amount of dollars that was, what's the word they're using now? Remitted, whatever, was over $300 million. And it's like, we haven't increased our business. What's up with the increase in the dollars, right? So it's catching eyes, but remember, supposedly everything they do is audited, right? So, okay, the federal finance will begin funding February salaries for the region's employees within 2 days. So that's Kurdistan. Then there's another article. The retirees, regular retirees, they're supposed to get paid March. They're supposed to get March's payments. So we'll see if that happens. And I think that's the last article. Yeah. So like I said, this will be a short one. So I'm not gonna do a long closeout. There was, did you see Citibank put $81 trillion in some poor person? $81 trillion. A mistake of $81 trillion. That is like, isn't that like all the money in the whole world, including the derivatives, the quadrillions of derivatives? I don't know. But so you see, if you see something like that, doesn't that make you think our banking system is just a Ponzi scheme? Because they didn't even notice. I think it took like a day and a half, right, for them to notice. But anyway, and I saw that in Iraq's news. At first, I saw that and I was like, that can't be right. There's not even $81 trillion of money. Maybe there is. I don't know. But I just thought that was okay. It's not funny, but I'm going to say funny because then other countries are looking at us, right? So, anyway, all right. So, yes, so I will say thank you. I will say I don't post regularly, so wherever you are listening or watching, look for a join, subscribe, follow, share, like, whatever type of button will add you to whatever list that when I do post, it will update you if all things work like they're supposed to, right? But I have a feeling I will be posting tomorrow. But if I don't, it just means there was nothing worth posting because remember Tuesday is the big oil meeting when oil companies from around the world are going to come, I think it's to Baghdad, and have that meeting, and they are specifically, they're specifically going to discuss contracts. Yeah. All right. So thank you. Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. And enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are listening to this. And until next time.